All right, guys, let's go ahead today. Let's go ahead and take out our notes packets. We just had a few questions using the distributive property that we did not finish up last time. So just to get our brains going today, I had you guys wait, though. I know some of you had finished number 12 and you had some time at the end of last class, but I wanted you guys to wait on these bottom four because these bottom four, I'm going to be perfectly honest, they're the type of equation that I see the most mistakes on, no matter what level I teach this at, whether it's pre-algebra, algebra concepts, algebra 1. I'm going to be honest, even when I've taught algebra 2, this is the type of equation solving that I always see the most mistakes on. So let's go ahead, let's make sure we've got our phones put away. Let's get our note packet out and open it to page 9, please. All right, now we did save these four for last. Like I was saying, it's the type of equation I always see the most mistakes on, no matter what level I teach this at. We're not going to do anything different. You guys were rocking this stuff last time. You guys were doing great distributing. You were combining your like terms. We got the variable by itself. By the time we were done last class, most of you were rocking these. But now I wanted you to hold up on these, though. I didn't want you to work ahead of me. Because when we go to distribute now, we have to be careful of our sign. And I know for some of us, those signs in front have been kicking our butt a little bit. So let's look at number 13. Number 13, how do I know I have to distribute first? What in that equation tells me, yep, you have to distribute? What do you think? All the other ones we've done, how do we know we have to distribute? Sam, how do we know?
Because you had to come by like terms if you need it.
We will be combining those like terms, but how do I know first that I have to distribute? There's what, John? What do we have? We have parentheses. We've got a number sitting in front of parentheses. But here's where these get tricky, and here's why I see mistakes on these anytime I've ever taught it. Because we don't pay attention to the sign that's in front. Whoops. Add my notes here. Because we don't pay attention to the sign that's in front of the number. I'm going to distribute, but what kind of 2 am I distributing? It's a negative 2. So here's what we need to do. Before you distribute, copy down. We've got the negative 3. It's not going to change because I distribute. So if you don't have a negative 3 on your paper right now, you're behind already. You should have a negative 3 on your paper. There we go. An equal sign. The negative 15 isn't going to change either. Now I'm going to distribute. When I distribute, I like to draw my little arrows. It's going to be a negative 2 times RC. And most people usually get that first sign right. But now it's also, though, guys, it's a negative 2 times that negative 1. Which is going to be a positive 2. And then our minus 3c is just kind of hanging out. Our minus 3c is just kind of hanging out. So this one, it's not any different than what we've been doing. We just have to pay attention to the sign of the number we're distributing. That's kind of been the case for some of us all along. We know the steps. We just sometimes lose track of the sign that should be in front of that number. So go ahead and finish off 13. Give you a couple minutes to finish it off. And then I want you to just try the first step in 14 only. So finish 13. Finish 13. And then just the first step of 14. That's all I want you to try right now. As you guys are finishing up 13, I'm going to go ahead and put the steps up so you can kind of check as you go. I'm hoping you're checking your answers, but mine can always be a double check for you. Be careful. Make sure you're watching your signs. The 2c is negative, and the 3c is negative. There's a negative 15 and a positive 2. So be careful on your signs. All of you guys I know the steps. But sometimes those signs, they kind of get lost in translation sometimes. That's what I've seen. I have all the steps up for 13, so check yours. And this is a time, guys, where if you didn't get the right answer, look at my steps compared to yours. We all have the same first step because we did that together. But then look at my second step. And I put it in, oops.
Yeah, you have to add.
And I put it in different colors so you see where they're coming from. So negative 2c, negative 3c gives me my negative 5c I wrote in red. Negative 15 and positive 2 gives me negative 13. So I circled in a different color the things that I combined. So if you're okay with 13, again, I just want you to try the first step of 14. If 13's not okay, what step do you not match me on? And let's see if we can figure out why you don't match. Let's take a look at number 14. In number 13, and I know, very first problem, I'm just kind of waking the brain up or warming it up math-wise. We have to watch our signs. We have to watch our signs. Some of us got stuck on 13 because we had negative 15 plus 2, and we had 17 there. If you need to, we all have that technology piece. We all have the calculator. Even double check it. Negative 15 plus 2. Double check it, guys, if you're in doubt. All right, so number 14, I asked you just to try the first step and then just wait. A couple of you did ask me on 14, though. They said, Miss Golly, okay, so the negative 18 isn't going to change. And I've got the equal sign there. But then now, Miss Golly, I'm confused because I don't see a number in front of those parentheses. So I see a negative, so do I use like negative 5? Or what's really there? So help me out, guys. What number is really in front of those parentheses? There's really a 1 there. So go ahead on your paper and put a 1 there. Remember, mathematicians get lazy. For whatever reason, we don't like to write a 1. 1's a pretty easy number to make, too, but we leave it out a lot. All right, so that means that the 5 is just going to chill out. The 5 has nothing to do with what's now going to happen with the distributive property. The negative 1 does. It's a negative 1. So when I distribute negative 1 times positive 6, it's going to be negative 6k. Negative 1, negative 19. What's going to happen there? Negative times a negative? Positive. Positive 19. Positive 19. So we have to be careful with our signs. We have to look at what's in front of the number. If there's a subtraction sign there, we have to get used to, hey, that's really a negative sign for us. We have to get used to the idea that subtraction sign, that 19 is really a negative. Or the number in front of our parentheses is really a negative 1 we have to distribute. So now from there, what can I put together? I know this throws some of you off since I only have 1k. But we can put together the 5. And we can put together the 19. Both of those are positive. Both of those are positive. We can put those together and we have 24. And now be careful. That 6k, what's the sign in front of it? It's really a negative 6k. It's really a negative in front of that 6 still. We have to watch our signs. I don't doubt everybody in this room. I don't doubt everybody in this room can distribute. I don't doubt everybody in this room. You guys can combine like terms. You guys can do all these things. The signs are throwing you off. All right, I need to move that 24. Right now it's positive. So we're going to subtract it. And we're going to get a big number over here. And this is what I'm talking about right here. For some of us, and I think it's great when you try to do that computation in your head. But sometimes, again, we get mixed up with the signs. Negative 18 minus 24. We're going to go even further negative. We're going to have negative 42. And then in front of that 6K, guys, it's still negative. So don't let those signs get you. So we have to be careful. That 6K coming down, it's negative. I have to make sure I didn't lose my negative sign on the way down. Be careful with that. Be super careful with that negative sign. Be super careful with those negatives when we're distributing and combining our like terms. I want you to just try first step, number 15. I'll give you a minute to try it out here. Just the first step on 15. That's all I want you to try. Okay. Bless you. Okay. All right, so number 15, I just asked you to do the first step. Because if we get some of the signs wrong, I'd rather us kind of take a pause on the first step and figure it out before we do the remaining 3 steps and then get frustrated because, oh, I had the first one wrong, now the rest of it's wrong. So here we go. I see parentheses with a number in front. So I know I have to distribute. What number am I distributing, though? Is that a positive 3 or negative 3? What kind of 3 am I distributing? Negative 3. A negative 3. So the R is going to stay put. That first R just kind of stays there. Then I distribute a negative 3. So we should have a minus 3R. And then now here's the part. Here's the part I really need you to check. Negative 3, negative 9. I know for some of us it's hard to see the minus 9 as a negative 9, but it is. So we really get a positive 27. Then we have a plus 4 equals 5. So double check your first step with mine. Make sure all your signs are okay. Then I want you to go ahead and finish solving this one without me. All right, guys. A lot of you, as I walked around, we're getting it. We're getting it. We've got to combine our like terms. Remember, there's really a 1 in front of that R. So we have a 1 minus 3. And then we have 27 and 4. Here's where we need to be careful, guys. We're talking about those signs a lot. You have to make sure you have a negative 2R. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Subtract 31 from both sides. Again, we have to watch our signs. Positive 5 minus 31, we're going to get a negative 26. Watch your signs. Negative divided by negative, we're going to get positive 13. I know all of you out there, like I've said many times today already, you all know how to distribute. You all know how to combine like terms. You all know how to solve a 2-step equation.
I'm sorry, I typed mine in and it said negative 14.
Where we're seeing the mistakes, are people are losing their signs. We don't have a negative on our 2. We don't have a negative on our 26. We have to watch our signs. Let's go ahead. Let's try out just the first step of number 16. And then I want to talk about that first step, and then I'll let you finish solving it. But I want to make sure first step's okay first. All right, let's check it out. First step, and I'm hoping we all just stop there. I have to distribute my 6. 48. And we should have a minus 18, and we have an X there. So the first set, just distribute the 6. Now what makes this one a little more tricky is there's another set of parentheses, and it looks a lot like number 14. There's just a minus sign there. There's just a minus sign. So if I need to, I can write that 1 in there. There's really a negative 1 there that I have to distribute. So negative 2x, negative 1 times 1, negative 1. So if you need to change anything on that first step, please do so. And then go ahead and solve from there. Watch your signs. There's lots of negatives, guys. Watch your signs. Go ahead and finish it from there. So go ahead and put those like terms together. We just have to be careful that we watch our signs. A couple of you that I've helped with this, we have to watch those negatives. We have a 48 and we have a minus 1 or a negative 1, however you'd like to say that. So we're going to get a 47. Negative 18x, negative 2x, negative 20x, and then we've got our 107. I know all of us out there know how to combine those like terms. I just start seeing the mistakes when we forget about the signs that are in front of them. That's what we have to be really, really careful of, are those signs in front. Now, I wrote this one this way on purpose because this is the type of two-step that some of us get stuck on. Because we have to move the 47 first, but there's not an addition or a subtraction in front of it. So sometimes it's hard for us to think about that inverse or that opposite. The 47's positive. So how am I going to move that positive 47? What would its inverse be? It'd be a negative. I know this is the type of two-step that would throw some of us off. We have to move that 47. We want to move the number without the x first. But there's not an addition or subtraction in front of it. That's okay. If it's a positive number, we don't write the plus in front of it. So I need a 0. So positive 47 minus 47 gives me that 0 I need. Here's again where we have to be careful. The 20x that is left, it's a negative 20x. 107 minus 47 gives me 60. I know some of us out there, like I said, we all know the steps. I don't doubt you guys for a second on your steps. We just get stuck sometimes because we don't pay attention to the sign that's in front. So be careful with your signs. You guys know the steps. I know you do.